In 2014, the Cedar embarked on its first tour around the state with 5 leading Minnesota artists: Abby Wolf, Nick Gaudette, Kyle Sobchak, Sarah Payunian, and Nathan Hansen. These artists were selected from the applicants in part because they were working in such disparate genres. Nearly strangers before the project launch, these composers and musicians were challenged to take their own personal work and develop it collaboratively for the road. Finding a home base in a northern Minnesota cabin, they worked together intensively for several days to push their own limitations and blur the boundaries between their work. At the beginning, we kind of cast a wide net and looked into quite a few different communities. So it was kind of a leap of faith for these organizations too, because we didn't really know what the show would look like at that time.
We started in Austin. We went to Grand Rapids. Then we played in Duluth. Morris.
Your footprints, wash them all away until they're all gone. You be sand and I'll be the ocean, back and forth I'll run over your footprints, wash them all away until they're all gone.
In the time between those ticketed shows, we're doing pop-up shows. Yesterday we were in Northfield at the Riverwalk early morning market, which was really fun.
I think this is super creative. I love this, and I walked out of one of the downtown shops here just a few minutes ago. Actually, my first thought was that I was about to witness a flash mob, but kind of, maybe not. That's not quite what's going on, but I thought got my attention for sure. Really creative. I love it.
While the Minnesota Express crew was on tour, I got a phone call from a program officer at the Arts Board who said, you know, Adrian, we just got a phone call from an audience member who lives in Austin, Minnesota, who saw the Minnesota Express crew performing at a Hy-Vee grocery store and was so inspired and thought it was so good that this audience member ended up going to the performance in Austin later that evening. And this person called the Arts Board to say thank you so much for funding this amazing thing. In Northfield, there was a very excited fellow who was holding up a sign and telling everybody that they were going to hell. And Kyle stood kitty corner and started just making up a song, just playing this beautiful song, and people really appreciated it. They thought it was funny and great.
And probably not gonna go to hell. Everybody makes mistakes sometimes.
but I think it was really gratifying to be able to travel outside the Twin Cities, and to have people say exactly that to us, that, oh, we're glad that you came to our town.
Also, it seemed like everybody at every show was like, afterwards was like, I don't understand why this wasn't sold out. This was so amazing. This is such a high caliber, amazing show.
Yeah, and all of that stuff has ripple effects beyond just the artists too. So like that impact is profound. But also this spending has this spending that came from the state is radiates out into the community because we were able to show up in Morris and in Hancock and Grand Rapids and Bemidji and all of those places and have encounters. We're expecting that this is the springboard to something bigger or continuing in the future. None of us have worked together in any capacity before the 3 3/4 rehearsals that we had prior to this.
I think it's a very, very unique experience compared to my other touring experience too, because it's a creative space that's very difficult to describe, and it's something that is uncommon in general, and even more so very uncommon to the places that we brought it. It can burst something open in the people, including the people who are providing it. I experienced a ton of growth. Spending such intense time with people that you didn't know before, the basics of life, cooking food and sharing living space, and then collaborating on musical, creative, artistic level. I mean, this is like a pretty intense spectrum of togetherness, and I really learned a lot through that.
It was very emotional and moving, and I was crying for all the people that weren't here tonight.
I was enraptured the entire time. The blending, the layering was literally that the lady's comment about it being otherworldly was very applicable.
We couldn't have asked for a better time.
Yeah, there was a man named Willie, and in Austin he attended our first show, and he loved it so much that 1 week later he traveled to Northfield to see us again.
Just as good the second time around. Well, that's why I was so curious to see the final show of the tour here, just to compare it to the first one. I suppose technically this makes me your first groupie. Somebody must have put a little bit of word out or something, because I was talking to the couple sitting next to me, and they had to come here tonight because some friends of theirs had seen you guys up in Duluth.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, and they were raving a bunch, so they just had to come here and check it out.